Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Office Bloke Daz.
I'm Gaynor.
I'm Office Bloke Aidan.
Here we are, the three of us. If Patreon's your thing, check out the link in the description below.
Yes.
Loads and loads of stuff on there, starting at just $3 a month. Full watch-alongs to things like Modern Family, Always Sunny in Philadelphia,
Ooh.
the quarterback,
for Family.
yeah, the quarterback, the receiver.
Seinfeld.
They're pretty much finished. So there's loads of stuff on there. Bit of Lawrence from Grimsby.
6 American things. Is there any six American things I can no longer live without? Is there any American things that you can no longer live without?
Buffalo wings.
Yeah, that's definitely one.
Yeah.
Buffalo wings.
What about
and,
McDonald's?
Pardon?
McDonald's.
I can live without McDonald's. Yeah.
I could as well.
Yeah, I'm not too arsed about McDonald's.
Nah,
Buffalo wings.
Every now and
Philly
then you eat a McDonald's,
cheesesteaks.
mate.
Philly cheesesteaks. So I had a Philly cheesesteak the other day. And
So it's just food.
They're not. Just can't do them over here. No one can make a Philly cheesesteak over here.
Yeah.
God damn it! Right?
I know.
It's not hard. But we are coming to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And I'm going to smash the Philly cheesesteaks. I'm going to try every single Philly cheesesteak place there is.
Every single one.
Twice a day.
Yeah. Let's get into this.
Hello, I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to things and stuff. Specifically, things and stuff that after living in the United States for nearly 16 years, I can no longer live without. And this video is sponsored by Mondly, who are offering 96% off lifetime
96%
access
off?
at mondly.app/lost in the pond. When I first moved here in 2008, I had all these British people saying, "Ooh, don't you become all Americanized?" And I hope those people aren't watching, because as you can see, there's no going back. I have become Americanized to the extent that I am now in fact an American citizen, and because of that, and since I've lived here for so long, you really do start to pick up an attachment to certain things. And people who've been subscribed to this channel for a long time
AC.
are probably expecting me to say air conditioning right off the bat, because I've done that 1,000 times, and it's because I've done it 1,000 times that I'm not going to do it in this video, but just take it as read that AC ordinarily is one of the things I can't live without, even though I did in Britain for 26 years. And if you aren't yet subscribed to this channel, do that now! In the meantime, here are American things that I can no longer live without. I feel like this one is just really embarrassing, because when I lived in England, we knew about drive-thru restaurants in America and thought that looks a bit too extravagant. What's wrong with catching a bus and then walking the extra half a mile to get to the place and ordering your food there? At least then you justify the calories you're about to eat at, say, McDonald's. And I held on to that feeling for quite a while, but then I turned 40 and realised that I like my comforts, that I'm lazy, and that my dog Arthur really likes drive-thrus because it often comes with the promise of a puppuccino. And since I left Britain, I have heard that drive-thrus have popped up in Britain. And if you are British and you are watching this, have you experienced drive-thrus where you live? And if so, do they drive in the opposite direction?
We do have one right around the corner from us.
I was going to say, I go through Mackey's drive-thru all the time.
Yeah. And the one at the top of the road was drive-thru as well,
Drive-thru
actually.
KFC.
There's loads of drive-thru.
Drive-thru
I didn't
KFC
think
as
it
well.
was.
I don't use them.
No, yeah, you would go to a drive-thru, it'd be empty, but you'd go and wait in the queue inside.
We even have a drive-through Costa Coffee, not far from us.
Yeah, we do.
Mate, every single service station you go to has drive-thrus.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, no, I just never think about it.
Thinking about like when he lived there.
Yeah,
which is like,
it's very popular now.
But it's more common. It's more common to go inside the store though.
I'd rather just go in, park up and go in, because I know what'll happen. I'll get all angry.
Do you know what I
end
do?
Up falling down.
No,
the guy who got one breakfast. It's 11:30, mate. Yeah, but I want breakfast.
No, at McDonald's you can get designated parking spaces if you've already ordered, and I just go to that parking spot and they come to my car.
Yeah, that's the new thing they started doing over here, the curbside delivery sort of thing, where you just pull up outside and they bring it out to you. Yeah. But I just know they'll get it wrong if I go through that drive-thru.
And plus that drive-thru at McDonald's, it's like the width of my car.
But that's the problem. I know it's very, very tight in there. And I don't want to scratch my car going through a McDonald's drive-thru. You know what I mean? Because then I'll probably be proper Michael Douglas.
Direction around the building to here. Number 2,
Mix
You might have seen my YouTube short from last week where I spoke about this phenomenon, which is less of a phenomenon and more just the norm in most places in the world, but not in Britain. And if you don't know the reasons for that, go and watch the short in question. The point is, in the house that I grew up in Britain, and just most houses in Britain, the bathrooms and the kitchens have sinks with separate hot and cold taps. And for 26 years, I had to wash my hands like this. Get some soap, nice and foamy, turn on the hot tap while getting foam on it. Run your hands under that. That's bloody hot. Turn on the cold tap to cool them down. Ah, that's nice. That's really nice. It's actually getting a bit too cold now. And I never once thought to myself, myself, there must be an easier way to do this. I did turn the taps on too, I'm not wasting water. And then I moved to America and I noticed there was just one faucet in the sinks in the house that I lived in initially. I just thought, well, maybe this is a quirk of this particular house, and didn't really think too much of it. But I did like the fact that you could choose the temperature that came out of the tap. It didn't have to be...
So I feel like a lot of houses do have that over here, though.
So the mixer tap. Yeah. We have it in our... We don't have any single hot and cold. But I'll tell you what I have noticed, though. When I go to the city games, I don't think they have a hot tap.
No, you can like push one or the other, can't you?
Yeah,
hot
it's
or
like,
cold.
but they're both cold.
Well,
I don't think anyone. I don't think
who's going to go and use hot water in there?
Because you'd be there for ages, wouldn't you? Miss the game by the time it warmed up. Yeah. But I've noticed it's always cold water.
Not in the ladies.
Isn't it?
No.
Oh, it does my head in. I sometimes press it when I'm leaving to keep it on, so to warm it up for the next person.
So we have the ones where you put your hands under and it comes out automatically.
Oh yeah, you do actually.
What?
Yeah, we do. We have that now. Yeah, they are. The new in there.
Put it under and it comes out.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yeah,
it's
like
censored.
That.
Yeah, it is. Now you mention it, it is. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, but he's right about the hot and cold water taps. It is very common.
In the old houses.
It's very common. Even in our office, it's a hot and cold water tap. Yeah.
But it's like a screw one, which is so annoying.
I'm not even sure how that water comes out. Neither it comes out everywhere.
Yeah.
It's like a
spray.
It's like a spray. It's like a shower head.
Loads of holes in a balloon or something.
Golden hot. It didn't have to be freezing cold. It could be somewhere in between. That said, I don't think in the middle is the perfect temperature. That's too lukewarm. I'm the sort of person who gets his steak medium well, and so when I've had a steak and my hands are all greasy, I like my temperature to be medium well. I might have thought about this too much.
Nah.
Yeah.
Is it just me as well? Like when I wash my hands, I want the water to be cold.
No, I want mine to be
I do like cold water on your hands.
I like cold water on my hands when I wash my hands. Yeah.
I always finish a shower banging it on cold, freezing cold.
And just to and then you're out.
Yeah.
One of the biggest American things that I can't live without, and one that I've not really spoken about publicly, is vans. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, Lawrence, you and Tara have a Prius. That's hardly a van, is it? Well, calm down, you keyboard warrior. Is it warrior? Warrior. Because I'm not referring to the vehicle type. I'm referring to Vans shoes. And
they're not very common
around. These are a little
Yeah.
worn and dog-eaten, and they're in the process of being replaced. But the point is, these are my favourite shoe brand. And you might be thinking, Lawrence, I didn't know you were a skater boy, because as we know, Avril Lavigne is a massive fan of this channel, and I'm not a skater.
Have you ever owned a pair of Vans?
I've got a pair.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, they're on Vinted at the moment. Oh. They're bright red, and they're like a boot.
I think I've seen them. You sure they're Converse?
No, the Vans.
Yeah, I've never had a pair of Vans.
Vans has never really been my style.
No, I mean we're Adidas or Jordans. One of the two, that's it.
Adidas a lot.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to buy
Although, granted, I did once have an addiction to Tony Hawk's 3. The point is, I am somebody with long legs, rubbish knees, and I don't like shoelaces. Now, I should add that Vans has lace-up shoes too, but they are pointless. Now, this is not sponsored by Vans. If it was, I'd probably show much nicer pairs of shoes. But I've just become a fan, a van fan, or a van. And they're comfortable. I walk in these every day with Arthur when he's not treating them like a meal. And they've been everywhere with me, from the beaches of Lake Michigan to the mountainsides of West Virginia. And they've got the scars and the odour to prove it. Americans, did you ever think that you'd hear a British person say this? I can't live without American English. Now for me, more than most people, that's true because firstly, it forms part of the basis of my job, comparing and contrasting our two countries' varieties of English. But it also plays a big part in my everyday life. I mean, firstly, I'm married to an American-born citizen. Secondly, and I've done videos about the precise Americanisms in question, I myself have picked some up. Many, in fact. I come from a country where we are forever fearful of the Americanization of English within Britain. The thing is that I would say to that is that Britain lost that fight a long time ago. For instance, any British person, and this is 90% of us, who've ever used the word hangover are upset that we have one, but at this point are probably completely unaware that the word hangover originated in American English more than a century ago. Now, I wonder if...
I'm not sure about that.
No.
Might have to diff because the word hangover, it's one of them things where dates back hundreds of years in the UK where they used to sleep on a rope because they spent all the money drinking. So they used to lean on a rope instead of pay for a bed. The workers, dock workers and people like used to lean on a rope and hang over the rope to fall asleep. And that's where the word hangover came from, is what I was led to believe.
Yeah, and they couldn't afford a room.
I don't know, I'm not sure, I've never had one.
Yeah, so
British people at the time had the same reservations over the word hangover as they do quite a lot of American English. But then it got me thinking, we don't take any issue with most American English terms that make it over to Britain, whether it's military-derived words like radar, or musical genres like jazz and rock and roll, or a word as simple as hello. American English and British English have long influenced each other and will continue to do so long after I'm dead. And on that happy note, it's time to get up off the sofa.
Mudroom.
And that's because I want to talk about one particular room in my house, and that is the mudroom. And even though you find mudrooms in other countries like Canada and even to some extent Britain, it just feels like more American houses have them. And you might be thinking, what is a mudroom? Well, a mudroom, as I've pointed out in previous videos, is a sort of entryway that just allows you to drag mud in there before you enter the main part of the house. I mean, that might not be its official purpose.
We had porches, didn't we? People started building porches for that purpose. So I had to take your shoes off and your boots off and all that. So like at the door, it was like
You also have like them things when you have like 2 front doors right next to you. You have like a tiny little room.
Porch.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like a decking or something.
No, porches. No, we call them porches. Like a little room that's like on outside your front door, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like
But it's like a glass, just like a tiny little glass room, which only has room for shoes.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's that's what you say. But in the USA, you obviously get things more space, more bigger.
Yeah.
But in our house in Hale, we had a mud room at the back.
Yeah, we did. You're right. Yeah.
Purpose, but that's what I use it for, and especially since I got a dog. You know, he likes to run around in this yard. Sometimes he drags me too, and so when we come back from doing that, I make sure we hang out in here first so that I don't have to bother getting a towel and drying his feet off. But I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you the main reason that I've fallen in love with this mudroom is it's a very convenient place just to store rubbish. I don't mean mouldy rubbish like food or stuff like that, but just sort of empty boxes that I don't have room in the recycling bin for yet. I've just realised that everything on this list is something that I could live without if I wasn't lazy. But the fact of the matter is, I am, which brings us on to the final entry. Over the last 2 weeks, it's become very apparent to me that I couldn't make this video without including a piece of furniture that I spoke about a few weeks ago in a video all about American furniture, and that is Adirondack chairs. It's been a good few weeks. I've used them very often while sitting outside with Arthur. Now, granted, it is the summer, so it sort of makes sense that I am out here, but I can imagine that I'll probably be using these in the height of winter, just not in a t-shirt, but a winter jacket. Because like vans, they are comfortable, and you might be thinking, aren't they just like a deck chair? And firstly, no, because you don't have to fold them up and put them away. And secondly, on deck chairs, your arse doesn't fall back because there's not that diagonal slope, whereas with these there is, and again appeals to my laziness. And then of course the arms that I spoke about in that video are majestic. I mean, you can fit your phone on it for one, and number two, you could probably play an entire board game. I've got this idea that my wife or friends will bring along their other Adirondack chair, put it here so that they're sitting there, and we'll just put a board here, play checkers. The one thing that I didn't mention in that video is that they're really easy to clean, and I know that because they're constantly getting covered in bird shit. That is one of the downsides of having it under a magnolia tree, which is so massive I didn't really have any choice. So that's my list, or at least a partial list, because like I said, there's hundreds of other things that I could have included. And if this video does well, my producers say, then we'll do a part 2. If it tanks, then we'll just push that part 2 under the rug. If you did like this video and you were interested in what I was saying about my Adirondack chair, why not?
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised you didn't go down a lot more of the food route. I know you said drive-thrus and that, but
yeah, it's I mean, as far as like air conditioning, I can get that. But
we have air conditioning.
We have air conditioning, yeah. So it's these places you go to. Sometimes you go in the pub in the summer and there's no AC, and that's
you sit outside normally in the pub
most people do
in the winter and it's boiling.
Yeah, it's red hot. Yeah, we went in a pub the other night and they had bloody fire on.
Yeah, it was nice that way.
Yeah, you sat right next to you. Do you want a table? Yeah, we'll sit right next to the fire, and then everyone moves away from the chair that's right in front of the fire. And I walked up with the drinks and I went, great, sat in front of the fire,
for about 10
already
minutes.
boiling. Yeah, but it's I can't think of anything that when I moved to the USA, when I lived in the USA, things that I couldn't live without in Britain. One of the things that I was struggled with is the football. Another sport, trying to get hold of British sport was tough in them days because it didn't really show, wasn't really televised as much as it is today.
Yeah.
But there was nothing I really missed because you could get pretty much a lot of stuff over there. It was like a treat
Waivers.
sometimes where you thought I was going to go and get a can of Iron Brew that I've not had for years, and then you go and just get So treat yourself in like go to like New Hope, Pennsylvania, wherever it was. They had that little English shop, and buy like loads of English shit that you probably didn't even have.
As well.
Yeah, they did have a Scottish shop, but you'd buy loads of shit you never used to have it even when you were in England. Yeah. But it's like now when you go to, we went to we saw the American shop yesterday. Again, it's like, should we go and get some candy from the shop there? And I was like, don't really fancy anything. Because you're going in, you're buying shit you never ate in your life. You know. But
Jolly Ranchers.
Jolly Ranchers, yeah. That's the... yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on there, he was saying.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. Funny guy. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget like and subscribe. See you on the next one.
Cheers.
Cheers.